Alright, guys, I'm back with another message. Been having a beautiful weekend so far. Got to watch some soccer yesterday. So today's Sunday, yesterday been Saturday. Saturdays in my household are soccer Saturdays. We go to the fields with my boys and watch them play a 10U game, and then I get to watch my oldest play a 14U game because I'm slowly becoming an old man. Um, I know that I've been starting these messages out, messages about love, and I think the last one that I have in just my immediate world, what people that are closest to me, uh, this message would be towards my parents or people that have had a parental figure in my life. Now, I've been blessed to have a lot of fantastic father figures in my life, and my father, uh, my wife's father, my other father-in-law, people that have truly just continued to bless me throughout every stage of my life. My mother, who has always nurtured and supported. My dad has always supported, but maybe not always nurtured as much, and definitely has just shown me the path of what a man should be. There's been some stoicism in that, but always had a heart of compassion and love, and wanted to be tougher and stronger and better for the people I would eventually be serving. And I don't know if he did that with foresight. I don't know if he just did that because that was how it came natural to him. But I know that I've been blessed by it. And so I'll start with this reading from Exodus 20, verse 12. Honor your father and mother, then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. So that's super important to me. One, living a long life with God is, what a blessing. But he tells you how to do it, how to get there. I know that not everybody is as blessed to have a great relationship as I do with my parents, including in-laws. I'd like to think I'm a favorite son-in-law. In fact, I've been told it multiple times. So, Corey, if you ever get a chance to listen to this, sorry I said it. I'm the favorite son-in-law. Just gonna have to live with that, come to terms with that. I was the first, but I also think I'm the best. I'm sure you can appreciate that. But that's always a running joke that we have. Really, I've just been blessed to be around these people for most of my adult life. Obviously, my entire life for my parents, but I got married at a young age and have had my in-laws in my life for a very long time, and I've been blessed to have them in my life every day. They've been with us through hard times. We stayed for them a while before we joined the military because of financial hardships that we had had. So I know the importance of a strong parental role in your life. I know that that is tough because when we read that word honor, if you have a parent that you know, or at least that you think that you know, isn't living in an honorable way, it can be tough to find the discernment to want to honor and continue to love them. But I think that it was super important because I also went out and I looked up the definition of honor, just because I know that that can be super tricky to be able to govern that when you know, or when you begin to realize that maybe your parents aren't living in the best manner, and that can be really detrimental to the relationship that you have with them. And so the first thing that I just wanted to mention is honor, the definition: to treat with high respect or great esteem. Now, I think that we can always treat everybody, regardless of the choices that they are making, with high respect and great esteem. My greatest examples were in the military. I treated everybody with respect and esteem, but those that were given leadership above me, you could argue in a parental role, first line leadership, whether it be commissioned officers, non-commissioned officers, didn't matter. I treated everybody with respect. Not everybody was very kind to me. Not everyone was very loving, but it mattered to me, but it kind of didn't. It didn't change how I was to treat them. And then I really think it boils down to what God's trying to tell us. Say, we got to be loving. We got to be respectful, regardless of whether we think those people deserve it. I think that operating in that sense has shown me God's true way, His will, that He wants for us. That I know that I've been blessed because I don't care who you are. I'd be hard pressed to find people on here that come on and say, "What? No, well, you're super disrespectful. I can't stand you." It's because I don't like operating like that. I don't like being treated like that. Now, do I claim to be perfect? Absolutely not. But do I I just feel called to give everybody that love and the respect that I would want. Now, I know I fall short, and I know that it can be tough sometimes, especially we're getting close to election time. There's going to be people that are voicing their opinions more often than not. But I tell you what, one thing that I have been enjoying, I don't know if all my coworkers have, but whenever I go to lunch, there's usually a conversation that I have with one of my fellow teachers. I won't mention her name, but she knows who she is if she listens to this. And we find ourselves on different ends of the spectrum when it comes to politics. And I'm always humbled to just sit there and listen to her and her understanding and how she approaches her end of the spectrum with love and how I approach my end of the spectrum with love. I think we're both passionate people about what we believe. I think that we both are going to vote who we think is going to do the best and love the most. And that makes me really, I had these strong feelings on who I want to be president and commander in chief and being a soldier and what that means to me. But honestly, having those conversations has made me appreciate even more so. I don't care who gets president. I know who I'm voting for, and I know who I'm praying for. I'm gonna pray for both. And that brings me back to just the love and understanding of my parents. Say, it doesn't matter if they do everything right. They're your parents. You gotta honor and respect them. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I was 100% blessed to have a father that was God-fearing, that instilled the values that I have in me today. I'm not coming up with anything new. I'm running an old playbook that was passed on to me by Bill Hefner and the other father figures that I've had in my life. When I get in trouble, there are times that I went without looking in my Bible for years, that I didn't attend church for years. And man, when times got tough, I reverted back to my earliest trainings, just like military would teach you. You revert back to your most comfortable form of training. Whatever you've done the most, that's what you're going to fall back to. That was the God in my church family. So I hit a certain point that I felt like my life was falling apart, as far as me falling apart, getting tired, feeling like the weight of the world's coming on me. I said, hey, I reach out to my dad. He says, be still. Let God move in your life. Pray. Talk to him. Right? Let things work out. Sometimes you especially those of us that have been in the military, first responders, men and women of action, when things aren't working, we look to move and fight, go against the grain, and keep pushing, digging our heels and fighting in the trenches. Sometimes we're making it worse for ourselves. We continue to just want to bear the weight of the world, and that's what's crushing us. We're not supposed to be bearing the weight of the world, not even our own little world that we have. And it can be tough sometimes. Some of us are just so wired to want to continue to move forward and be that guy or be that girl that's in control, and they want to take that initiative. And those are all great attributes to want to have. But if you don't do it according to God's will, sometimes it's just to your own detriment. That can be tough. That's a lesson that took me a long time to learn. And I know that while, like I said, I thought I was a pretty good kid when I was younger, I definitely think that it took me a while to learn, especially it started hitting me really hard when I became a father and realizing that all those decisions that my dad had made when I was younger, those are some of the same tough decisions I had to make now that I have kids, and trying to be the best of them while still being a good friend to those outside of my family, and being a good husband and being a good brother. And it's tough. It's tough to find that balance, but I know that you can always start by honoring and respecting your mother and father. That's right out of the gate. Now, I say that, and I'll mention I was blessed to have a father that feared the Lord and had patience most of the time, and had discernment, and I think reflected on his actions and how God would want him to act. And thinking about that has me go back to John 16, 31 to 33, and really the process in which my dad went about things. Right here, 16. Getting closer. Not too far. And I like these because they're red words, which in my Bible, which means God spoke these, which I think are inherently, I don't want to say more important, but they carry a little bit more weight than what a lot of people consider the rest of the Bible. Obviously, it's one big, beautiful message from the same source, but when they're read words, I know just a little bit extra for me. So, yep, John 16:31-33. Jesus asked, "Do you finally believe? But the time is coming. Indeed, it's here now, when you will be scattered, each one going his own way, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you all this, so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you may have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." That's a tough one. Now, I've seen my dad take on a lot, and I think that he's been a fantastic example to me. It makes me laugh watching my mom and dad grow old together, and sometimes how they are at odds, and just that all the things that can happen in a 30 plus, almost 40 plus year relationship. And it makes me chuckle to see that same thing, because I'm 15 years in, almost 20 as far as my entire relationship with my own wife, and to see how some things are a testament to time as far as they don't change much, and the frustrations that we find in our partner. And I'm just blessed to have seen that and had an example of that in the parents that I've had. One thing that I'll always remember, and then I'll head out for now. Every morning my dad used to wake me up with, "This is the day the Lord has made," and he'd shout it at the top of his lungs. He worked third shift, would always come in at about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and wake us all up with that, yelling at the top of his lungs, "This is the day the Lord has made." And he'd keep saying it until we said, "Let us rejoice and be glad in it." I'm happy and thankful to say that I continue that with my own children, because just that simple reminder. Now, I know my dad had shared scripture with me, poetry inspired by the Bible that he's created, that other people have created, but that is one of the simple things that he always did, that I always remembered. I can't remember a morning that I wasn't woken up with that. Years, decades in a row, every day. "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." And he'd always follow that up and say, "Hey, no matter what happens, good or bad, today's God's favorite day. And with him we have victory." And I know that even on my toughest days, all the days that have felt like losses, all the days that I felt like the world was against me, I still had victory. And I want to let you guys know that when you guys make that choice to follow God, you have victory too. That's just the way it is. It might not feel like it. In fact, there's going to be some days where the world's going to chew you up and spit you out. But God's going to be holding you the whole time. Going to keep having victory. I'm going to finish with that, guys. You know the drill. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I think next time I'm going to be talking about those people outside my immediate family that I've been so blessed to have crossed my path. And there's quite a few of them. So next video might be either a two-parter or maybe just one big long video. But I love you guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And I hope you guys look forward to having a blessed week. Have a good one.